On April 25th, SOLIDWORKS released the Service Pack 2 update for SOLIDWORKS 2026. And just like the previous Service Pack 1, it included several enhancements to improve your day-to-day modeling workflows. And this time around, some of the highlights include a new progressive isolate tool for bodies and components, the ability to edit bend radii for imported sheet metal parts, a couple small but mighty enhancements for drawings, and a really cool new capability for photo rendering in Visualize. We're covering 5 of the latest enhancements that are built for design speed and better communication. So stay tuned to see what's new in SOLIDWORKS 2026 Service Pack 2. To simplify navigation, you can use the timestamps to skip ahead to the enhancements you're most interested in. Feel free to pause here for a closer look at the subjects we'll be covering in this video. And please note that just like we did for Service Pack 1, we've created a separate video dedicated to the new AI enhancements for Service Pack 2. And there's some really good ones for this update, so if you're interested, please be sure to check out our video titled AI Tools and Virtual Companions 2026 SP2. As a quick reminder, if you purchase the 2026 edition of SOLIDWORKS, or if you're on active subscription, you already have access to Service Pack 2 and all the features we'll be discussing here. Visit solidworks.com/support/downloads, click Access Downloads, then log in with your 3D Experience ID to get access. Now let's take a look at our first enhancement for Service Pack 2. Starting off strong, we have improved functionality for the isolate command, which is a staple for working with assemblies and multi-body parts. But until now, it came with one glaring limitation. Once you used the isolate command, you couldn't use it again on the isolated components without exiting first. So in previous versions, if I select a handful of components or subassemblies, I can right-click and use the isolate command to hide everything except for what I have selected. But from here, suppose I want to focus in further and hide everything except for just a few components on the gantry subassembly, I can't simply repeat this process. Instead, I have to exit the isolate command and reselect the components I want to isolate and run the command again, which can be difficult, especially in situations where you're working with internal components, since everything is visible again. This problem is eliminated in 2026 Service Pack 2 thanks to progressive isolate, which allows the isolate command to be run a second or third or however many times you would like in a row. Once you've isolated components, simply select the new components to isolate, right-click, and you'll find Isolate is still available in the menu. As I mentioned, you can repeat this process as many times as you need, letting you dig into large assemblies very quickly while preventing you from getting lost in reappearing components, and also minimizing how many clicks you have to make. This is one of those super simple enhancements that I've already grown to love, and I think you will too. So try it out next time you have the chance. For sheet metal users, especially those who work with imported models, this next enhancement is a pretty useful one. SOLIDWORKS has introduced the ability to edit the bend radius of imported bend faces within the Convert to Sheet Metal command. This adds an important degree of flexibility to imported sheet metal models that simply hadn't existed before, making Convert to Sheet Metal a lot more powerful and eliminating the need for difficult workarounds. For this example, we use the door from the control cabinet subassembly, which is in fact an imported sheet metal model. And importantly, it already has bend faces defined in it with the default radius of 1.5 millimeters. In previous versions, Convert to Sheet Metal requires you to select a fixed face, and then you're able to specify a thickness value along with any bend edges you wish to include in the conversion. You'll also notice a radius field is available here, but if I try to adjust this field, nothing happens. And that's because this bend radius is reserved for sharp bend edges that don't already have a radius defined. In this case, all of my bends are already defined, which means I can't adjust them, and I'm stuck with this 1.5 millimeter radius even after the conversion is complete. And this has been one of the biggest limitations of this feature since it was introduced, and 2026 SP2 solves it. Now, using the same command on the same exact component, we can follow the same exact process with one clear difference. Once the predefined bends are selected, flags appear on the screen attached to each edge, where you can input new radius values. You'll also find that the radius field can now be adjusted since it now applies to both sharp bends and pre-made bends, and there's a new checkbox allowing you to link pre-made bends to the default radius. If you enable this, all the bends without an explicit value assigned will be assigned the radius in the field above. If you leave this option off, the original bend radii are maintained. Here I've changed the top and bottom bend radii to be a bit larger than the original bends, and the conversion completes with no problem. And if I ever change my mind later, I can always edit the round bend feature to update the radius as needed. This is a pretty significant enhancement for sheet metal, and it helps us avoid a lot of awkward workarounds that used to be fairly common. So if you're a sheet metal user, add this to your tool belt for your next imported design. Our next two enhancements for SP2 are related to drawings, and both of them are very simple but very useful improvements, starting with a new favorites folder for your most commonly used drawing symbols. In previous versions, adding a symbol to a note would show the most recently used category of symbols. But if you wanted something different, you'd have to click on More Symbols and then dig through the dozens of categories to find the one you wanted. This often meant repeated trips back to this dialog to mix and match symbols from different categories, which gets old pretty quickly, especially if you're only using a handful of standard symbols to begin with. 2026 SP2 introduces a new favorites folder for these symbols, and it's always the first thing to show up when you go to insert a symbol. It starts out blank by default, but as you locate the symbols you use most frequently, you can use the available button to add them to your favorites list, and the next time you need to insert a symbol, they'll be right there for quick access. And of course, if you need to remove a symbol from your favorites, there's a button for that too. This is a short and sweet enhancement that should make things a bit easier for you if you use symbols on a regular basis. Next up for drawings is the ability to highlight text, which is another short and sweet enhancement to improve drawing clarity and communication. In previous versions, we've been able to change the color of text contained in notes, but there was no easy way to highlight text to really draw attention to it. Now in SP2 of 2026, just select the text you want to highlight with the cursor, and you'll find a new button in the formatting toolbar to edit the highlight color. From here, pick your favorite color from the palette or define a custom color, and it'll be impossible to miss your highlighted text. As a heads up, this also works for text in the title block. You just need to make sure to edit the sheet format first, and the same process applies. Like I said, another short and sweet enhancement that improves communication, and it's definitely one that I'll be using. The last enhancement we'll be covering in this video impacts the photo rendering capabilities of SOLIDWORKS Visualize, which now includes the ability to add volumetrics. In case you're unfamiliar, volumetrics allow you to create effects similar to fog, which cause light to scatter in a more realistic fashion. This can add extra depth and realism to your rendering that would otherwise be difficult or impossible to achieve, especially for interior or photo studio style scenes. Now, admittedly, I'm not the biggest Visualize power user, but I created a simple scene here with the router assembly to show how this works. Just right-click in the model tree, click New Volume, then modify the size and position of the new volume as needed to encompass the scene using the Transform tab. In the Volume tab, you can then reduce the density so that you can see through the volume, and you can even change the color if preferred. Here's a quick side-by-side of the same scene rendered with and without the volume active. And again, I'd like to reiterate that the simple example I've used here doesn't really do this new capability justice. So if you're a Visualize user, you should definitely do some experimentation of your own, especially if you use customized light sources. Now that's going to bring us to the end of this video on what's new for Service Pack 2. But before we go, here's an on-screen summary of each of the new capabilities we've covered today, along with their functions and use cases. Feel free to pause here for a closer look, and remember, what you've seen in this video is only a portion of what's included with this service pack. There's many more enhancements related to data management, collaboration, the UI, and most importantly, several new AI tools have been added as well, building on the AI tools that were added in Service Pack 1. Just like last time, we've covered all these new tools in a separate video titled AI Tools and Virtual Companions 2026 SP2. So be sure to check that out to learn more, and until next time, thanks for watching What's New in SolidWorks.